So the new year is getting off to a raft of conferences and summits that are focused on the new budget as well as outlook on the 6 months administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's key policies so far. So on Tuesday, more than a dozen experts and professionals in the field of policies, law, economy and finance, creative arts and technology sat with Dr. Ken Ikpe, the host of The Discourse on Classic FM 97.3, to discuss key issues in Nigeria's economic roadmap. It's time now to turn the table for me to hold Dr. Ken to The Discourse as he joins me live on our Rise Exchange. Now, welcome to The Discourse.
Thank you.
Dr.
It's a pleasure.
It's always good when the hunter becomes the hunted.
Yes.
The stock market is piping hot. Are you making money? That's 100,000 there for you.
Yes. well, as at the last time my stockbroker advised me, it's been up and down, but because there is still a lot of confidence, in that sector, and where else do we want to put the money anyway? So for lack of options, the money is there anyway. So it's gyrating. Some I make money this week, and next week it goes back to a lower index and the minus decimals. So the answer is yes and no, but there is hope anyway.
There is hope in the market. The market, everybody just keep your eyes peeled, in a manner of speaking. Tuesday, and don't just go, you kept me sitting for 6 hours or so. And I'm getting old for this job. But again, what's the idea behind the discourse that very grand economic conversation?
You see, Bosan, the discourse is not new as a concept.
Yeah.
But like 6 months ago, we came together, and I'm talking about friends, and said, what, can we take this platform, give it stature, give it some kind of weight and gravitas, make it deeper.
Yes.
But the challenge then was, okay, if you're going to do that, it just wouldn't be some moderator sitting and asking people questions, You have to understand and be able, have capacity to process insights around economy, leadership, business, culture, humanity, tech, and that is big, It took a search. We couldn't quite find that person. And because I was involved in the conversation all through 3 months or thereabout, it fell on me. So we decided to, I hate the word rebrand because there's nothing like rebrand anyway. It's either there's a brand or there's no brand. Yeah. So what we did is that we opened up the brand, put a DNA there, built equity around the personality. And then an exchange platform was born called The Discourse with Dr. Ken.
Interesting, because you're an economist yourself. So as I want your thoughts on Nigerian economy and where you think it's headed, right straight from inside your own head.
People use the word stagnated, but it's not. It's a predicament if you ask me. Like you heard yesterday, if we could still be producing, what we rely on for our major source of livelihood and revenue and foreign exchange income, if we could still be producing the same amount we produced in 1977.
Of oil?
Of oil.
We were doing 2.3, 2.7.
So you imagine what the output would have been if we had defended the
common patrimony.
That common patrimony, and what amount of money or resources we could have gotten from it, and how it could have developed.
I think by now we could have been 5 million barrels.
So the more it is discussed, the more depressing it is. However, what keeps people, because on every week I interview top people,
yes,
spanning across those areas of economy, finance, and so I see frustration, I see anger. However, what moderates is that I see people who see Nigeria as a country with potential. Huge potential. But the frustration again comes because we've been talking about potential for 50 years. And that is very, very annoying. However, we are lucky because we have the resources, we have capacity, we have what looks like a country that can become a mega country. But we've not had the benefit of appropriate and the type of leadership that can mine.
Now you just touched that button
yes.
again. That is painful button here. Yes. here that is a leadership issue. And I think that was one major takeaway for me yesterday. As you sit down to talk to leaders across various, you've got politicians in the room, you've got entertainers, you've got multimillionaire comedians, you've got food, agriculture, and you've got Chief Anthony Ikpe, who is a legal luminary. You've got investment bankers in the room, you've got virtually everyone.
Managing directors
of the CEOs and officials of the government by the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment. So it looks like this issue about leadership, who drives it. So I was just joking with you over there about football match. And one of the reasons why I'm not so much of a football fan is that when the match goes well, I just saw that Ivory Coast fired the coach. But none of these players, same for
Ghana.
Ghana?
Yeah, yesterday they discharged.
Heads are rolling.
Yes, so.
But when the match goes well, the players party.
Yes.
But it's the coach who gets fired. And you said, well, there's never a permanent coach.
Yes, there are two types of coaches, those who have been fired and those who are about to be fired. And in the multinational business, it is like that. You come as CEO.
It is brutal analysis of sports by you. Bring it into political and economic leadership in Nigeria for me.
Yes.
Why is it critical that the issue of accountability for our leaders at the top seem to be very weak? And I took that from Chief Anthony Ikpe.
Yes, it is very weak. And in fact, if you look at the leadership recruitment system, so you see a disconnection in the private sector in Nigeria. You don't become a leader by accident. You don't become a leader through sentiment. Some kind of task is x-rayed, so you know what the task is. So they go and look for a resource through a process that they think can deal with that task. So that person comes to take the business from road well traveled, road least traveled, and road never traveled, and that is where innovation blossoms. And then the person have parameters you have to deliver and KPIs, and is rewarded as such. So he's held accountable by not only the staff whose welfare and destiny revolves around him or her, but held accountable to by the board. And then he has stakeholders who are watching by way of rating him. So, but when we come to public space, we come to governance, we seem to play with it. Those same parameters we set it aside. Meanwhile, our own livelihood, even like Tilewa said yesterday, you could become the richest in Nigeria, but you could become the poorest in 4 years, just because some guy out there has taken over your destiny. So if we don't take seriously this leadership recruitment system and get a situation where our very best
at the political and governance
level, and we must get to a situation where our very best, our first 11, always will man our resources and man our destiny all the time. But in the case of Nigeria, all the leaders we've seen, as good as we think they are, quote and unquote, how many of them come from our first 11?
Well, we're going to have a bit of a playback of two of the sessions yesterday, but this conversation between you and I, in terms of where do we take the conversation from here? 4 sessions yesterday, and I wasn't sure where you get the stamina to whatever you're drinking, whatever you're eating, to get that on. Yeah. But again, where do we get the feedback back to these same political elected appointed leaders?
Okay, yesterday what we did, because it's the first premium edition and we took it live, at the Civic Center. Otherwise, it's a radio platform station that we do it every Sunday. But before we did it, what we did is that we went to government officials, very capable, because we use the connections we have and say, do you feel what we feel? Do you feel what the man on the street is feeling? And the answer was very honest. Most of them felt apprehension and said, listen, it's not the same thing, because the shit has hit the fan, if I can use that word. The fear is palpable, the anger there is palpable. So we got that feedback. So we said to ourselves, you know what, if we bring the very best from all sectors of Nigeria economy and sit down and discuss these things honestly, and then come out with a communique on those different sectors and subsections we have discussed. We have defined a channel through which we send it back to those who we spoke to, and the result of which gave back to the discourse of the machine.
Yes, for making things better and make better things.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It's nice.
It's a pleasure,
all the work you're doing on the discourse. Thank you very much, and having me in the room. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best.